A question I'm often asked is, how does a personal injury case unfold? Like, how is this process going to work? Because again, usually this is the first time you've ever needed legal services of an attorney, and probably the first time you're hurt, whether that's a slip and fall, a car accident, or a workers' comp claim. A personal injury case generally will follow these steps. At first, you're obviously hurt. You had to go to the emergency room, okay? And if it was a car wreck, for instance, you're going to have some property damage. Well, hopefully you've hired a lawyer, because if not, you're going to get a call from an insurance adjuster. And what they're going to try to do is one of two things, and sometimes both. They're going to try to take a recorded statement of you to lock you into a statement, lock you into an injury damages model. And two, they may even offer you what I always refer to as a snap settlement, offering you a pittance of a settlement to take some money now and dangle the carrot. Don't ever give a recorded statement. Don't ever sign anything without letting a lawyer look at it. Those are the first two tips. Now, after that process, hopefully you've hired representation and you got to get your property damage adjusted. So in our office, we help with that as well. We have a 25-year former adjuster who works for us and can make sure that your car is properly adjusted, your damages are taken care of, and if it's a total loss, that you're properly and adequately compensated. If there's any diminution in value at this point in time, we're pursuing those damages as well. Now, while that's going on, we're setting up your medical treatment, okay? Because obviously you got to go to the doctor. You can't settle your case until we know what your medical damages are, okay? Because you only got one shot at this. Once that's over, you can't get two bites at the apple. That's it. So we make sure that, and we manage your medical and make sure you're going to all the proper doctors. Is that a specialist? Is that more physical therapy? Is it advanced radiology? Every case is different. Every case is unique. Our case managers are trained to identify the medical providers that you need to go to and make sure that you get all that treatment that you need. Now, a question also, I don't have health insurance, Justin. What do I do? Don't worry about that. I have relationships with providers here locally and across the state that will treat you on what's called a letter of protection, a lien basis, whereas they agree to treat you now and get repaid back out of your settlement. So we can get that set up for you. Now, your treatment may last a few months to a year. Every case is different. So depending on how long that takes, when that is done and you've been released from the doctor and you've reached maximum medical improvement, that means the doctor says, hey, there's no more medical treatment that we can do for you. At that point in time, we will gather your medical records and your bills and go through them with a fine-tooth comb and just make sure we have a properly documented file. All the bills are in, all the records are in, the records match the bills, get rid of any unrelated treatment. And then your lawyers and your legal team were able to prepare what's called a demand package. And we'll fire this demand package off with a tight 14 to 30-day time limit, depending on the severity of your case. That is plenty of time to allow the insurance company to evaluate your claim. At the same time, we're probably going to be offering to settle the case within the policy limits of the insured. If we settle the case, great, we'll get the money, but we're not done yet. The money goes into trust. At that point in time, we are making sure all your liens are negotiated down and taken care of. Any outstanding medical provider bills, we're making sure that's reduced and taken care of and paid out, and then we'll have the net to client. And that, in my office, that usually takes 10 to 30 days, again, depending on the severity of your case. If that's over with, that's great. You're going to leave me a 5-star review. You're happy, and the case is over with. If for some reason, and this happens as well, the insurance company does not want to be reasonable and settle the case, of course, we have to proceed through litigation. Now, litigation for some seems like a scary word, but it's not. It's simply us doing the heavy lifting. We're the lawyers. We do litigation every day, and we are filing a summons and complaint in court in the county, usually in which the wreck happened. Sometimes we'll have to file in federal court, depending on the case, but we'll follow the rules of civil procedure. We serve the at-fault driver, any necessary party. We then start what's called the written discovery phase. And in written discovery, we're propounding and answering interrogatories. We're sending requests to produce documents and other information related to your file. And most importantly, in any kind of car wreck or injury litigation, is the request to admit, where we are asking the defendant and the at-fault person to essentially admit to certain things to hopefully prove liability. When the written discovery process is over, obviously we've got new information now. And we then develop, with your lawyer and your legal team, we'll develop a deposition schedule, a deposition plan. And that's where we're going to depose any witness and expert that we think will add value to your case and move the litigation forward. of course, at the same time, the defense is going to want to depose you. Okay, we prep you of what the issues are in the case, any red flags that may come up in the case. If you have any pre-existing conditions that could be an issue in the case, we'll sit down with you beforehand. We're going to be in that room with you defending your deposition. For some people, it's an intimidating process, but we try to make it as easy as possible with our preparation. So don't be alarmed by that. And that's the only heavy lifting that you have to do. Everything else, our legal team can do. When the depositions are closed and we think discovery is done, then we will schedule a mediation. And a mediation is simply an opportunity. It's non-binding, but it is required in South Carolina. But it's an opportunity for us to own, we're not losing control like we would in a courtroom. We have control of the settlement. We're able to present our case to a third-party neutral, and it's usually an older, retired lawyer that's well-respected in the community. And there's certain ones that we have great relationships with, and we're always developing new ones. But what we'll do is we'll sit down, present our case. The defense will present their case. Nothing can be admissible outside of that room. It's all protected by the rules and the laws. But we're able to present our case in an informal setting, and hopefully we reach a settlement. Now, if we reach a settlement at the mediation phase, again, you're done. We'll get your money and resolve the liens like we said before, and the case is taken care of. Now, if for some reason we can't finish it at the mediation, we have to go to trial. Now, on the backside, your lawyers, our legal team, we're going to be preparing pre-trial briefs. We're going to be preparing your exhibits, filing any motions in limine that we need to do. And your case will eventually be put on what's called a trial roster and will be assigned a number. At that trial roster, we either will have motions to make or we'll be ready for trial. And, of course, we'll give you plenty of advance notice. And then if we do get set for trial and the case is still not settled, we'll put your case in chief up and hopefully we get you a verdict that will satisfy your damages. So that's the nuts and bolts of it. I know this is a long video, but that's the case process. People always ask me, what is involved and how long is this going to take? If you do have to try a case from injury, again, every case is different, from injury to a trial date, that's kind of like a 2-year process on average. But I've had some cases that take 3 and 4 years, depending on the complexity. If we can settle it when you're done treating and the insurance company is going to be reasonable, that is obviously a shorter time frame. So again, every case is different. It's all going to be depending on your unique case facts. The big thing though is get my legal team working for you as early as we possibly can so we can take this off your hands. We do the heavy lifting. We're here for you. Remember, when life gets ugly, justice is lovely. And you can call me anytime at 843-839-4111.
When life gets ugly.